Go. Good to see everybody. I'm coming to you live with my hunting jacket on tonight. I got my hunting jacket on because I know nothing about hunting, like zero. In fact, my wife had to show me how to shoot a gun. I didn't even know how to shoot a gun, but you know what? My boys like it. My boys like to go hunting. So if my boys want to go hunting, I'm going hunting. And we went hunting today. We shot chukars and pheasant and quail, and it was just a perfect day. So I don't want to take my hunting gear off. I actually put it back on just for tonight's live. I hope everybody's doing awesome. Gray Williams is teaching me about hunting because I'm going to go out and buy some guns. I might even get a gun safe now. I'm not kidding you. I don't know anything about hunting, like zero about hunting. But I know that my boys like to hunt, and so if that's what my boys want to do, guess what? I'm going hunting with my boys. I challenge you to do the same thing. Put yourself in a position where you can do what your family wants to do. It's rarely about what you want to do. As these kids are getting older, man, I'm watching them change so fast. Hell, my Johnny boy's 17, is a junior in high school. You know, a little over a year from now, he's gone. So I got to spend time doing what Johnny boy and Jackie boy and the juicer wants to do. So that's what we did today. We went upland bird hunting, and it was fantastic. So if those of you know about that stuff, I'm happy for some tips, but I don't know shit from Shinola about it. So I let the guides do that, and I pretty much just go along for the ride. So I hope everybody's doing great on this Monday night. It feels like a Sunday though, because I didn't go to the office today. Today is the first Martin Luther King Day in at least 25 years that I didn't go and work today. At least 25 years that I did not go into my office and work on Martin Luther King birthday. I spent it with my boys hunting chukar, and we had one hell of a time, man. It was just awesome. So I challenge everybody to be able to do the things that your children want to do versus the things that you want to do and your children are riding along with you. So welcome to everybody who's jumping on. I appreciate everybody on all the platforms of Instagram and on Facebook. These lives are also being taken from Instagram and Facebook, and we're dropping them on the Matt Monero YouTube channel. So please be sure to go over there and follow me on, subscribe to me on YouTube if you don't mind. Likes, shares, always appreciated in an effort to get more people on these streams. These are 30 for January, every night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I haven't missed one. You guys haven't missed one, and I hope you're getting tremendous value. So just give me a thumbs up if these have been beneficial for you and you're getting value. Let me welcome some people in. Aaron, welcome aboard. Dan, welcome aboard. My buddy Tommy Davidson, welcome aboard. Kendra Beerley, welcome aboard. My buddy Jeremy Clay, welcome aboard. Freddie Ward, welcome aboard. My friend Cammie jumped on. Wonderful to see Cammie. Love you, Cammie. Thanks for all your support. Philip and Bob just jumped on. Happy to see you guys. It's awesome. For those of you on Instagram, I'm still getting familiar with the names. Brandon, thank you for being on. Megan, thank you for being on. Robert Stern, thank you for being on. And Rico, thank you for being on. Like, shares, hearts. It keeps the momentum going, and I appreciate everybody. I'm going to try to drop some knowledge tonight on how we improve our relationships. How do we move up the food chain in our relationships to make millions? And I'm going to share two stories with you tonight to tie it all together so you can spend more time in 2019 moving up the food chain in your relationships. What I can tell you is that for most of my career, I did not understand the value of relationships. I literally ran my business on an island, isolated, just me on my own little island, and it was a huge mistake for me. It was an absolute massive mistake that I didn't spend more time trying to build fantastic relationships to be able to move up the food chain and eventually leverage those relationships to make more money. Now, I did do it in my business in that I was having great relationships with clients and vendors and even my team members at Commercial Fleet. But outside of that circle, I really did a lousy job of leveraging relationships to be able to move up the food chain. And I can tell you that in about 2013, so that's 5 going on 6 years ago, I made a mental shift and I said, I'm going to improve my network, the relationships that I have, the people that I can get on the telephone and ask for favors, maybe even ask for business, but certainly ask for ideas on how to make more money. And I'm going to walk you through. Brandon wants to know where these are posted. These are going to be all posted over to my Matt Manero YouTube channel. So you can go to Matt Manero on YouTube and subscribe. Matt Manero on YouTube and subscribe. So I appreciate the waves and I appreciate people being with me. Let's get into a couple of stories. I'm going to tell you the first story, the first time that I really understood how to do this, how to move up the food chain and why it mattered, was after I read the book, The 10X Rule by now who's become a friend of mine, Grant Cardone. And I read that book. It was a very powerful book for me for one specific reason. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the book because maybe a lot of you know me through Cardone and his work. But the one thing that struck me in the 10X Rule was this concept of potential, right? And I know you know what I'm talking about, but Cardone was crystal clear that in order to, the only game we should be playing is the game of our potential. How do we maximize our own individual potential? And I have to tell you, I never really understood it. Ask yourself this question: where is potential taught? Who's teaching us that the game that we're playing is not who do we compete with, but what can we as individuals achieve? I was always competing against my friends. I was just talking recently to some of you know that my best friend in the world passed away this fall. Truly my brother from another mother. He died at 48 years old. He died literally in 2 months of getting diagnosed with cancer. He was dead 2 months later. And I was talking to his brother the end of last week, and we were sort of memorializing him, if you will, on our conversation. And he said, "What's the thing you miss the most about talking to Liam?" And I said, "What I missed the most about talking to Liam was when I travel, when I'm on the road, when I'm in an airport, when I'm in a car rental. I knew that he was doing the same thing. And I knew that I could call him and I could say, man, where are you? What you doing, man? Where are you grinding? Where are you beating it? Who are you going to see? What are you doing?" And we would always have so much fun talking while we were on the road. And I miss that. I miss the ability to call him and say, where are you at, man? Where's it taking you? Where's that plane taking you this week? And I don't know why I digressed on that story, but it was good. It's a great memory of him, man. Some of you know you lost a friend too early, family member, whatever it is. It's actually the storyline of this book, You Need More Money. Everybody thinks this book is about investment strategies. My book, You Need More Money, is really not about investment strategies. It's about how do you put yourself in a position to maximize your lifestyle by design. And in order to do that, you need more money. Hell, this hunt, was these hunts. If you were on one of the streams, a couple weeks ago, I was at this same place called Rough Creek Lodge in Glen Rose, Texas, and I was like, holy shit, this place is expensive. We were hunting hogs that day, and I went and I ended up buying a whole membership to the place. It cost me $7,000. But guess what? My boys like to hunt, so that's what we did on Martin Luther King Day. We went hunting today, right? Super Mario Score says it's a great book. Thank you, dude. The book he's talking about is my book, You Need More Money. It's available on Amazon. Everyone should get this book. It's the best $15 you could possibly spend. Welcome a few other people. Welcome Mike. Welcome Ingrid. Welcome Josh. Welcome my buddy Parveen. Good to see you. Jesus. My man Clayton Whitaker jumped on. Awesome to see you, dude. I hope everything's awesome. But let's get into the message tonight. So I digressed. I read the 10X rule, talked about potential, and I said, man, I got to meet this guy, Cardone. Who is this dude, right? I got to meet this guy. And it turns out that he was having an event at the Hard Rock Hotel in Mexico, down there. They call Riviera Maya, that section of Mexico. And I said to the rocker, we're going to Mexico to meet this guy. And she's like, yeah, but not all the boys come. I go, I don't care whether the boys can come or not. Me and you and whoever of the boys are coming, we ended up taking 2 of our boys. So this was 2013, 2014-ish. We flew down there to Mexico to the 10X thing, and I'm not shitting you. When you think of 10X GrowthCon now that Grant is putting on in less than 2 weeks, 10 days, I think it is, and there are going to be 35,000 people there. I was there, and there were literally 30 people, 30 to 40 people at this event. And I got the ability to visit with him, to talk to him, to meet him, to learn from him personally, close up. And those still exist for you today, those unique opportunities to get close to people if you're early. If you find them early enough in their careers as they're on the way up, you actually can get close to those people, and you must get close to those people. You must put yourself in a position in which you can, as I like to say, it's always warmer near the sun. So you've got to put yourself in a position to meet people. My business finishing school event happens to be one of those. We are on the upswing. There will literally only be 200, 250, maybe 300 people at the event, February 22, 23, and 24. If someone would put the link in there, I'd be grateful for it. It's bfssummit.com, bfssummit.com. And at the end of the stream, I'll give you my discount code. My $400 off is gone. All I have now, I'll give it to you right now, it's MATT. You go to bfssummit.com, type in capital MATT, all caps 100, and you get $100 off. Let's get into the message. I get there to Mexico, and I end up having dinner with him, meeting his wife, who's speaking at my event now, Elena. It's a 5-year friendship, 5-6-year friendship now. I've invested in Cardone Capital. In fact, here's my most recent distribution check. Came over the weekend. For those of you, I don't know if you can see that. So that's 7 G's that comes in every month, never miss. Amazing investment for me. Total passive income. Invested in Cardone Capital. I get my money every month rather. So let's get down to it. So you got to do that. Now, that was good for me, right? To get in that circle. That was great. In fact, it was very, very beneficial. But I had to go further in that. I had to go to the next level of meeting more people. I had to build this network. I had to move up the food chain in my contacts. And so around 2013, 2014, when I made this commitment to move up the food chain in my relationships, our company, Commercial Fleet Financing, we were winning the Inc. 500, Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in America award. We ended up winning it 4 years in a row. And then we just stopped filling out the application. We would continue to win. This year, we would have crushed it. But I didn't think it was all that important anymore. Shit, after we won it 4 times, I think we'd probably won it 6 times. And one of my other businesses probably would have won that 3 or 4 times if we just filled out the application. But that award became very unimportant to me. However, at one of the conferences, the Inc. 500 conference, I saw that one of the speakers was a guy named Norm Brodsky. Maybe you know Norm Brodsky through Inc. magazine. He's a writer for Inc. magazine, but he's really a super uber successful business guy, worth hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. But many years ago, and I talk about this in You Need More Money, many years ago, I had won this award, or I had been accepted rather into this program called Birthing of Giants. And it was a 3-year program. They only accepted 60 people. And we went to MIT, the MIT, each year for a solid week, and we learned from the greatest minds in business. And Norm spoke at it. This was 1999, 2000, and 2001. And I was accepted, and I went, saw Norm speak. I didn't do shit with that 3-year program. In fact, the only thing I did with that 3-year program was bullshit everybody added about how successful I was. Shit, I'd only been in business 4 years. I didn't have a pot to pick. I didn't even have the $2,000 to pay to go to the event, but I did all 3 years. And then I basically took, 2001 to 2013, 12 years off. I didn't connect with anybody. I didn't stay in touch with anybody. I didn't even put many of the things I learned at it into place. I just kept the struggle of being alone in business going. And so with the Inc. 500 thing, I saw that Norm was speaking at it. And I said, perfect. I'm right in this movement of increasing my network of people. And here Norm is speaking at this thing. So I'm going to see Norm. I'm going to tap Norm's network. And here's the tip. Here's the trick that I do. When I want to get somebody's attention, I send or I bring or I deliver this extremely expensive box of cigars. They're Opus X's. The box is $300 for 6 cigars. Tim Grover just jumped on Instagram. Tim, I would love to bring you on this stream. If you would be kind enough in this stream, I would love to bring you on the stream and just freaking hammer down on people tonight to get their week to the next step. So if you would be kind enough, Tim, I'd love to have you jump on the stream tonight. My point is that I deliver these cigars. It's 6 cigars. It's $300. Now, I'm a cigar smoker. I like to smoke cigars, and I don't even buy the box for myself. But I have literally bought, 50 of these boxes and given them out to people because they remember the gift. It opens their eyes to who is this lunatic that just spent $300 in this gorgeous Opus X box to be part or to get. So that's what I did at the Inc. 500 thing. I had these boxes of cigars delivered to Norm Brodsky in his hotel room. And that night at the banquet, when I saw Norm, it was my intro to him. It was my way of getting his attention. Now, he did not remember me from the Birthing of Giants days, but he remembered that I was the lunatic that just delivered 6 cigars for $300 to his room. I said to him, here's the way, really probably the third takeaway tonight. The first takeaway is that you've got to have a desire to move up the food chain in your relationships. The second takeaway is you got to get somebody's attention. And the third takeaway is once you get the attention, you've got to be totally honest with them and ask for what it is that you want with absolute humility. So I went to Norm and I said, I'm trying to move up the food chain in my relationships, Norm. Who do you know? Who can help me move up the food chain? By the way, Tim Grover, I'd love to bring you in on the Instagram stream. If you'd be kind enough, I'd like to drop you in on this. I think you'd bring tremendous value to my group tonight, as you always do. Norm said, I'm having a cigar smoker, a cigar night. I do it once a year. I bring in 25 people at my place in New York City. I'd like you to come. Boom, connection made, right? It worked. You guys see what I'm saying? I identified a guy I wanted to be with. I delivered something above average, not like something small, something meaningful to him so that I could get his attention. I get his attention. I ask with total humility, I need help moving up the food chain, and he gives me the invitation to come to his event. Now, this was in Phoenix or Scottsdale, I think it was, and the event was months down the road in New York City in the summer at his place. At that time, it was the most spectacular place overlooking Manhattan. It was incredible. Guess what? The invitation comes. I go to the event. And at 25 people, high level, highly achieving people. And I said to them with ultimate humility, I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm looking to move up the food chain in my relationships. Who do you know? And one guy after the next guy after the next guy kept saying, oh, you're in Dallas? You got to meet Rick Sapio. The next guy says, oh, you're in Dallas? Dude, there's only one guy you got to meet, Rick Sapio. I'm like, who the hell's this Rick Sapio guy? I never heard of Rick Sapio. Who is Rick Sapio? So boom, connection made. You guys following the protocol here, right? Have a desire, pay a few bucks to get to the event, find out who you want to meet, deliver something of influence, get their attention, and then with total humility, ask for what it is that you want. So I get back to Dallas. One of the guys does the introduction to Norm Brodsky, to Rick Sapio. And I call him up on the phone and I say, hey man, I'm looking to move up the food chain in my network. I'm looking to meet highly successful people. I want to have lunch with you. He's like, sure, anytime you want. I'm like, well, why don't you check your schedule and see? It's like, dude, I got time. That's my world. My world is developing relationships and introducing people and talking to people. So come on. We go to lunch, me and Rick Sapio. I didn't know him from Adam. And the way he tells the story now, because this was like 2014 and maybe 13, 14, and Rick and I become very close friends and now business partners in business finishing school. And he tells the story as if I was literally on the other side of the table like an animal. He tells me I was sweating through my shirt. And Charles, you can hop on the stream, but I want you to tell me what your question is, please. I want to clear your question first. He says I was literally sweating through my shirt. Now, I don't remember it that way, but he says that I was like this chaotic business owner. That I can agree with you, that I was. Absolute chaos at Commercial Fleet. We were doing $100 million a year, and the place was starting to crack. So Rick and I became very good friends after this. And he was after me to come to this thing called Business Finishing School. He kept saying, dude, you need to come to my Business Finishing School event. At that time, we called them boot camp. Now we call them growth summits. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm good. He said, no, dude, listen, I'm telling you, you need to come to Business Finishing School, dude. I can help you. I can help you through this chaos, this madness, this lunacy that you've got. You're sweating through your shirt I didn't even realize it, okay? But he was right. And long story short, I went to Business Finishing School, and within the first 30 minutes, I raised my hand and I said, I'll take the whole program. It was $4,788. I bought the entire program on the spot. By the way, that was a 4-year program. It's still the same price today for 4 years of learning. It's MBA type stuff in 4 years. And Business Finishing School changed my outlook on business and my outlook on my life, starting with core values and mission statement and catalyzing statement. And I want to do the same for you, but you've got to make the move. Since that time, Rick and I have done multiple other deals. We've done real estate deals. We've done private equity deals. We did an angel investing deal. We're getting ready to do this healthcare product deal right now, where we're getting ready to invest in a company that, and I'm learning about the company, but he's very familiar with it. Foot ulcers for diabetics. I'm not sure if any of you are aware of this, and maybe you guys can educate me on it. But I guess if you're a diabetic, foot ulcers are a major problem. If some of you know about diabetes, you can help me with this. But this company heads off the diagnosis of foot ulcers for diabetics. They've created this pad where when you step on the pad, it sends these electrodes into your feet, and it can diagnose the onset of a diabetic foot ulcer long before the foot ulcer occurs, because I'm under the impression that if you get a diabetic foot ulcer, it's a very expensive process to fix. It often leads to amputation of the foot, which often leads to amputation of the leg, which often leads to amputation of the thigh. So if you guys know about that, let me know. My point is that Rick has done some incredible introductions for me. I bought half of Business Finishing School, and we're taking Business Finishing School to an entirely new level because I'm the ultimate testimonial for it. Hell, the company was doing $100 million. I broke the company, I torched the company, and me and my team rebuilt the company on mission statement, core values, all these other amazing things. And we, last year in 2018, did $158 million, all because of Business Finishing School. I am literally the ultimate testimonial of why you want to come to Business Finishing School. I suppose another side note of why I'm the ultimate testimonial of that is because I just took Martin Luther King Day off for the first time in 25 years, and I went hunting with my boys. Why? Because I developed my core values. My number one core value in my life, directly related to my learnings at Business Finishing School, is to be a better father to my 3 boys than my father was to me. And that means I got to do shit that they want to do, not do stuff that only I want to do and they come along. That's why I'm wearing my camo jacket today, because I got a new camo jacket. Hell, I didn't even know how to shoot a gun. My wife had to teach me how to shoot a gun. I don't even own a damn gun, but I'm getting guns. I'm going to get a bunch of them now and take them on down there for chucker hunts and hog hunts and all that sort of stuff anytime the boys want. Why? Because that's what they want to do, and time is moving so fast, I got to spend time with those little suckers. My man Billy just jumped on. I love it. He puts the Texas flag in there. You got it. This place is in Glen Rose. It's like 90 miles south of Dallas through Fort Worth, down over there. Gorgeous place and first-class experience. And that's the way I want to hunt. I don't want to I want to be in the cedar bushes rustling out the chuckers on my own. You know what I want? I want a dog to go. I want it to point. I want the guide to say, get ready, boys. Load up, bang, 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 shoot the chucker. The dog goes, gets the chucker, brings it back. Today when we were hunting, the dog was, they had 5 dogs, but they were putting 3 out at one time. And this one dog was so funny. It would grab the bird after we shot it, and it would run it around every one of us. It was like showing off to us. It wanted us to, that the dog did its job by going to get the chucker and bring it back. It was so incredible to see these dogs. But that's how I want to hunt, man, right? I want to go on a nice guided hunt with a couple guys that know what the hell they're doing and have fun for my boys. My point is for tonight that you have to move up the food chain. Some point in your life, you must move up the food chain. And in order to do that, there is a process. I talk about the process. I outlined this exact story in You Need More Money. But the process is, number one, you got to make a decision that you want to move up the food chain. Number 2, you got to identify who is the sun, where you can get warmer to the sun. How do you get closer to these people that are of influence? The third thing you got to do is you got to get the influence, and not only do you have to pay to get to the event, but you have to do something above and beyond. Like if you got me 1 cigar and left it at the front desk and it wasn't my favorite cigar, and you came up to me, I'd probably be the same person. But if you got me a box of Opus X's, $300 a box for 6 stogies, and by the way, I'm gonna give you a side note on that, just to tell you that when those cigars were delivered to my friend Norm Brodsky, and I saw him at the banquet that night, he said, "I got the box, but the cigars were not in the box." And I said, what are you talking about, man? He's like, "I got the beautiful box, but it was empty." Somebody from the time that I had delivered that box to the front desk of the hotel to the time it got to Norm had swiped the 6 cigars. That's the piece of the story I forgot to mention. And I didn't put it in the book. Somebody stole the damn cigars. They were like, "Damn, these are good cigars. I'm going to steal these." And they delivered an empty box of cigars to him. And so when I saw him at the event, he's like, "What's going on with this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Empty box of cigars?" He's like, "Yeah, there were no cigars in the box." I said, "Get out of here." It's like, "No." So I called the cigar shop, and they overnighted me another box of cigars, another $300 box of cigars. So basically on that influence, it cost me $100 a cigar, $100 a stick, because the next day I brought him another box personally to him that had the stogies in it. Can you believe that shit? Somebody stole the stogies. Somebody lifted the stogies. Why? Because they're like, "I ain't never seen some dumbass spend $300 for 6 cigars, let alone $600 for 6 cigars." But that's what I did. Eric White wants to know what a chucker is. And the chucker was, they're like these little birds. They're like a little bit bigger than a quail. And I think they're better. They're more delicious than a quail. But today we shot chucker, and we shot quail, and we shot pheasant. And I don't know much about any of them. My buddy Sean Loftus just jumped on. Sean, maybe you got a recipe for chuckers that we can talk about in the office tomorrow, because I got this whole cooler full of chuckers, and I don't know what the hell to do with them, but I'd like to try and cook them. So that's my message for tonight. I literally just gave you the process of how you can move up the food chain with these relationships. Sooner or later, you have got to develop a network that you can leverage, and that network has to be with higher, more successful people than you. And I just gave you the roadmap of how to do it. We're going to move to questions right now. I'm going to bring in Charles on Instagram right now. Let's see what Charles wants to talk about. Charlie, I'm bringing you on right now. We're going live together. So bring it, my brother, bring it. Anybody else who wants to go live on Instagram or ask questions on Facebook, I'm happy to bring you on and talk about it. I just want you to clear it. My man, how you doing?
Oh, man, what's up? How you been?
Awesome, and you?
I'm great. We haven't talked since August. So I don't know if, but.
Well, just tell us, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
About sales and closing.
Just tell the audience a little bit about yourself so we get a little background on you.
My Wi-Fi must be bad, man.
That's all right. Let's go work through it. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Right. So I'm a 13-year-old entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of an app called Hire Faster that's launching in a few months. We're still raising money for it. And then I also help people with their e-commerce businesses and help them get started with that. And so I offer a course, and I step through steps to help people out. With their e-commerce businesses and getting started, etc.
Now, hang on a minute.
And that's actually where my...
Hang on a minute. Did you say you were 13?
Yes.
You're 13 years old.
Yes.
Dang, my brother. All right. What's your question tonight? Man, what a bunch of young hustlers we got in this developing audience. Last night we had Samuel, who was 17 or 18. So let's rock and roll. Charles, what's your question, buddy?
So I'm wondering, I have leads, right, for my e-commerce, for helping people with e-commerce and that sort of stuff. And so, I charge about $1,000, and it helps people get their website going and all that and gets them really set up. And so, it works, and I believe in the product. I know it works. I've seen results. I have results. But I'm wondering how I close people when, I don't really know how to, I guess, per se, sell to them. And I don't know, I was just wondering your tips on exactly selling a high-ticket item and maybe some steps I can follow.
Well, are you calling $1,000 a high-ticket item?
I would say for my ideal client, it's a high-ticket item.
Okay, well, I'm not sure.
Sense.
Well, why would it be a high-ticket item for your ideal client? What I'm getting at is it sounds like if I'm your ideal client, $1,000 is cheap. So it's not a high-ticket item. Is that a question of your ideal client? Are you working with people who are too small or too broke?
Well, they're not too broke. I mean, they can afford it, obviously, and I've had sales, right? But I mean, for my, for my niche and for the exact person I usually deal with, they're not exactly broke, but for them, $1,000 is more than it would be for someone like yourself.
All right. Well, sense. I mean, here's always how we close, whether it's perceived as a high value or low value, or high ticket rather, or low ticket price. You have to close against value. So you must prove out. Like at my company at Commercial Fleet, we have a piece of software on our website called the Budget Builder. And we actually can take someone through the process of buying a truck, how much revenue you're going to make. Let's go through the 5 or 6 high expenses. And the software clicks calculate, and it spits out the profit that they're going to generate on the truck purchase. And so we'll prove out that if they're making $20,000 a month in revenue when they buy the truck, that it's going to make them $9,000. And so we just prove out the value proposition. You need to develop that same process, whether it's through software or whether it's through just your value proposition. But you've got to explain very simple and quickly how that $1,000 investment is going to make them what. Then you need some testimonials, my brother. You need to prove out through video or written testimonials or reference checks that it worked for someone else, and then you forward that to them. And then the last thing you got to do, buddy, is you got to work the phones. I mean, you got to literally call that lead, and you got to say, hey, this is Charles. I know you showed some interest in my product. I showed you the value add. I showed you how you're going to make 10 grand on your $1,000 investment. What's holding you back? So you got to work the phones. And if it's not your skill set, there's probably lots of people that you could hire on a commission basis, even though I don't hire people on commission only basis. I like to give people a base salary to get them through that learning curve. You may not have that ability to do that, but it's a pretty simple process, dude. You got to prove out value. You got to show people that for $1,000 they're going to make 10,000, and do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So
and sorry, quick follow-up question if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So do you ever use like emotion or any of that sort of stuff? I've kind of just been using logic, right? Just showing people. Sorry, do you mind if I put this?
So
just showing people like the logic side of it, but I haven't been showing people, I haven't been appealing to their emotions. Do you recommend doing that? Do you ever do that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, of course, dude. It's all that, but I don't believe that anyone buys on emotion. They relate on emotion, but they buy on data and justification of the value. So you've got to prove out your business model that them making the decision is worth way more than what the investment is. And until you do that, you will have problems closing. Emotion is only for relatability and maybe even getting some some relationship type building. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the value gen, the revenue gen that your product creates. But great question, my brother. Keep it up, dude. You're doing 13 years old is unbelievable. Hell, with my 13-year-old, we were hunting chuckers today, and you're building out ClickFunnels and stuff. So congratulations, my brother. I'll see you down the road.
You, man. You have a great night. I really appreciate you taking my question, and I'll see you, man.
Dude, I appreciate you too.
Peace.
Come on, man. 13 years old. You see what's going on? Unbelievable what's happening. There's an entire new generation of people who are beginning to say, I want to get my piece of the American pie. I'm tired of waiting. I don't want to do this process called, finish high school, of course, but then they're not sure they want to go on to college, or they want to do this thing. And before they try to get their piece of the American pie, they're 35 years old and they still don't have it. Dude, that's what's happening in America. That's what I talk about in the book. People are getting old and broke. Old and broke. It's dangerous. It's disastrous. It's an epidemic in America that people are waiting too long to tap into their unbridled ambition and get their piece of the American pie. If anybody else on Instagram wants to jump in, I'm happy to bring you on. I just need you to tell me what your question is, and I want to clear your question first. So guys, that's the takeaway for tonight. I hope these have been valuable for you. It's awesome to see everybody, and I appreciate the tribe that we are developing through the consistency of doing these 8 p.m. streams every night. In February, on February 1st, I will be moving away from the Matt Monero brand and moving to the Commercial Fleet brand. And for every night in February at 8 p.m., I will be on the Commercial Fleet financing platforms, and I'll be educating our clients on how to finance equipment, the budget builder piece that I was just talking about, all the other things that go into what we do for business. I'm going to move it away from the personal side, and I'm going to move over to the to my business side for the month of February. So if you guys want to get hardcore information on that, you can start to follow me at Commercial Fleet Financing and move on over to that platform February 1. But we still got time to go. We still got time for December. For January. I'm looking at the calendar right now. It's the 21st. So what do we got? Another 10 days of these. We got another 10 nights together. So you guys can fire up whatever questions you got tonight. Otherwise, we're going to part ways. I hope tonight was valuable. And if you really want to get started in moving up the food chain, one of the first things you need to do is probably come to my event. It's so value driven. The price is $799. We're sold out of $599 tickets. We're sold out of $699. All we have left are $799s. And if you go to bfssummit.com, and put in the code at the checkout, capital MATT 100, I'll give you $100 off tonight. Get on Amazon and get this book. You need more money. You are crazy if you don't have this book. I also read this on Audible, so you can get it on Audible as well. I'm telling you, if you won't spend $15 to move up the food chain and your money, that's problematic. And that's a huge problem. I'm telling you, if you won't spend $15, and I tell you, if you won't spend $699 to get your ass to Dallas, Texas on February 22, 23, and 24, listen to Tim's story, listen to Elena Cardone, listen to me keynote, my partner Rick Sapio keynote, Rand Stagen keynote, Dr. Ivan Meisner keynote. You're out of your mind. I mean, it's just nuts. $699 with my discount code. Spend $300 on the plane ticket. You're at $999. 2 nights in a hotel at the Marriott, beautiful hotel. They're discounted at around $100. It's $1,100, $1,200 for you to come on and get completely fired up for 2019. It's all I can do for you, man. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody. Take care of yourself. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Watch the replay of this if you want to get that process and that storyline of how I did it. And I'll see y'all down the road, all right? Bye, everybody.